4 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface, sunlight disappears completely. The water turns black and silent, colder than ice, heavier than anything the human body could survive. No waves, no sound, no movement except slow drifting particles that look like falling snow. It feels less like Earth and more like outer space, and hidden in that darkness lies a treasure that could power our entire future. Scattered across the seafloor are billions of strange potato-sized rocks called polymetallic nodules. They look ordinary at first, like dull stones resting in the mud. But inside them are the metals that modern technology desperately needs: nickel, cobalt, manganese, copper, the same materials used to build electric cars, wind turbines, batteries, and smartphones. In many ways, they are the building blocks of the Green Revolution. And there may be enough down there to supply the world for centuries. For decades, these minerals were considered unreachable. The ocean floor was simply too deep, too expensive, too hostile for heavy industry. But technology has changed. Massive robotic machines can now crawl along the seabed, vacuuming up nodules like giant underwater harvesters. Cables stretch kilometers back to ships above, lifting the ore to the surface. What once sounded like science fiction is quickly becoming reality. This new frontier has triggered something that feels eerily familiar. A modern gold rush, not in deserts or mountains, but in the abyss. Governments and corporations are racing to claim territory before anyone else. Exploration licenses are being signed. Test operations are already underway. The deep sea, once untouched for billions of years, is suddenly being mapped like real estate. Because whoever controls these minerals may control the future of energy itself. The logic seems simple at first. We want clean energy. We want fewer fossil fuels. We want electric cars instead of gasoline engines. But all of that requires batteries, and batteries require rare metals. On land, these materials are getting harder to find, more expensive to mine, and often tied to political instability. The deep ocean looks like the perfect solution. An endless supply, waiting quietly on the seabed. But nothing in nature is ever that simple, because the deep sea isn't empty. It only looks that way from above. Down there, in the darkness, entire ecosystems have evolved over millions of years. Strange creatures drift through the water like ghosts. Transparent fish, glowing jellyfish, worms that live near underwater volcanoes. Life forms so alien they barely resemble anything we recognize. Scientists have explored less of the deep ocean than the surface of the moon. Every expedition reveals species that have never been seen before. Creatures that move slowly, grow slowly, and live in one of the most stable environments on Earth. Some of these organisms may take hundreds or even thousands of years to mature. Their world changes at a geological pace, not a human one, which means damage doesn't heal quickly. Imagine a giant machine descending into this fragile environment. Metal tracks pressing into soft sediment that hasn't been disturbed for millions of years. Suction systems scraping nodules off the seafloor and sending thick clouds of mud into the water. Entire habitats flattened in minutes. Noise and vibration spreading for kilometers in every direction. For us, it's just mining. For them, it's extinction. And the most troubling part is how little we truly understand what we might destroy. Many species down there haven't even been named yet. Some may hold medical or scientific secrets we haven't discovered. Others may exist nowhere else on Earth. If they disappear, we won't even know what we lost. It's like burning a library before reading the books. Yet the pressure to move forward is enormous. Nations want independence from foreign supply chains. Companies want control over critical minerals. Clean energy targets are approaching fast. The demand for batteries is exploding year after year. Waiting feels risky. So the race accelerates. International bodies like the International Seabed Authority are now deciding who gets to mine and under what rules. Lines are being drawn across the ocean floor like borders on a hidden map. Contracts are negotiated quietly, far from public attention. Decisions made in conference rooms today could shape ecosystems that have existed for millions of years. It feels less like science and more like geopolitics. Because minerals are power. The countries that control them control technology, manufacturing, and energy independence. In a world already divided by trade wars and resource shortages, deep-sea mining could become the next strategic battleground. Not with soldiers, but with ships and robots. A silent competition playing out beneath the waves. Supporters argue that we don't really have a choice. They say mining the deep ocean may actually be cleaner than mining on land. No forests cut down, no villages displaced, no toxic waste piles visible from space. If we must extract minerals somewhere, they argue, why not do it far from human communities? On paper, it sounds reasonable. But critics warn that out of sight doesn't mean without consequence. Sediment clouds stirred up by mining could drift for kilometers, smothering marine life. Noise pollution could disrupt species that rely on vibration to navigate. And because deep-sea ecosystems recover so slowly, the scars might last centuries or longer. A single mining site could permanently change a region the size of a small country. Damage that no one alive today would ever see repaired. The deeper question becomes uncomfortable. Are we solving one environmental crisis by creating another? To save the atmosphere, we may sacrifice the ocean floor. To cut carbon emissions, we may wipe out species that survived every extinction before us. The green transition, meant to protect the planet, suddenly comes with its own hidden cost. Progress starts to look complicated, almost contradictory. And that's what makes this story so powerful. Because it isn't just about mining. It's about how humanity approaches every new frontier. We rush in, extract what we need, and deal with consequences later. We did it with forests, rivers, and fossil fuels. Now we're preparing to do it to the last untouched wilderness on Earth, a place most people will never even see. The deep ocean has been called Earth's final frontier, a world of darkness, pressure, and strange beauty that has existed quietly since long before humans walked the surface. For billions of years, it remained beyond our reach. Now, for the first time, our machines are about to touch it. And once we start, there may be no going back. Because industrial systems rarely move in reverse. So, we stand at a crossroads. One path leads to faster clean energy and greater resource independence. The other risks permanent damage to ecosystems we barely understand. Both futures feel urgent. Both feel important. And choosing between them may define the next century. It's not a simple battle between good and bad. It's a trade-off between climate survival and ocean survival, between what we can see and what we can't. Maybe the real challenge isn't whether we mine the deep sea, but how carefully we decide to act. How much research we demand first. How strict the rules become. How willing we are to slow down when the stakes are this high. Because once those machines descend into the abyss, they won't just be collecting rocks. they'll be reshaping an entire world. And like every major decision in history, future generations will look back and ask the same question. Did we move too fast? Or did we finally learn to protect the last wild places on our planet? If you enjoy deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world, from geopolitics to space, energy, and the future of technology, consider subscribing to the channel. These stories take time to research and craft, and your support helps us keep making thoughtful documentary-style videos like this. And as always, let me know your thoughts below. Should we mine the deep ocean to power a green future, or leave the abyss untouched? Because sometimes the hardest choices aren't between right and wrong. They're between two futures we both desperately need.